Oh, who is this?
Hey, my name is Riley. I just won 2 back-to-back locals here at Galactic. So,
With what deck?
branded Chimera.
Nice. Okay, cool. Well, show us the list, man, so I can see it.
Yeah, let's get into it real quick. So we'll start off with just the monsters of the deck. This part's pretty standard, fairly figured out. We're gonna play 3 Sword Knight, 3 Codal, 3 Gazelle,
Okay.
2 of the level 5. He's a little bit bricky. 1 is not enough. 3 is definitely way too much. You still draw 2 of them sometimes. It feels bad.
Right.
And then for the 1-0s, for the illusions, we play Master Tau to help for the OTK. And I decided to go with this new Emissary card here because it basically spellbounds the opponent's board at the end of the battle phase. And that's probably really good for Tenpai lately, at least from what I've noticed, to help keep them from continuing to climb on you. Until your next battle phase, they can't do anything with the extra deck in their monsters.
Oh, that's really neat. So this is a meta call for Tenpai. Nice.
Essentially, yeah. It's fairly new in the deck. I've been testing it out. I like it so far, and it also just helps you not die when you summon it in defense because it can't die by battle, so it just keeps you alive till the next turn. And then we have the 2 Albaz for the branded bridge of the deck. And then the final 2, I would call them the goo cards for the deck. We're going to play Barrier Statue of the Abyss to lock in the draw phase.
Ew.
And then we play Light Hex Seal Fusion for some goo here in the extra deck.
Oh, so you got some options. That's pretty cool.
Definitely. So that about rounds it out for all the engine on the monsters here. And then we will go into our spell cards. So I think it's correct. I see some lists only run 2. I think it's always correct to play 3 of this card,
I agree with
depending
you.
on your matchups. Yeah,
Just
you
use
can always
max out.
side one of them out just to make room for something because it's so searchable and accessible. You don't always need 3, but I just think you have to. And then probably the best starter of the deck. It bridges both engines together if it gets to resolve. When you get to use Albaz and the Gazelle level 4, it is a beast, which allows you to summon Renbrum from the extra deck, but we will go over that here in just a minute. It's a great
Gotcha.
combo that gets you to search an illusion right off of the resolution, so it just keeps you playing. And the honorary engine 3 of Pot of Prosperity, it's a necessary evil for the deck, I think. Sometimes it sucks to have to banish one of your Guardian Chimeras off of it, but it'd be like that if you really need to dig for it.
Gotcha.
And so that about rounds it for all of the gas for the deck, and we'll move over into the non-engine stuff.
It's pretty
here.
consistent.
Yeah, it's really not bad. Opening pot does feel really good, even though you got to banish some of your fusions. So for the non-engine, the deck dies really hard to hand traps, so got to max out on that. And again, kind of like Chimera Fusion, depending on the matchup, if you can tell they're not playing a lot, or they're on like board breakers, whereas I'm not playing many of those, you can always side 1 or 2 of those out just to make some room. I generally like to keep it at 2 to 3 while I'm playing.
I gotcha.
We got just 1 talents. Feels great to draw it. I don't like playing more because I feel like it's a little bricky.
Yeah, right.
Honestly.
But it's mainly like a cross-out target, right?
Yeah, that actually does feel good. I've done that a few times, but this basically just getting hand trapped, stops my plays. But if I have that, I get to rip 2 so that you go neg 2 into your turn.
Oh, yeah, I see what you're saying.
So, because I think the general idea of Chimera is to be more of a stun and control the pace of your turn. And so anything you get, like the hand rip off of the main monster here, just, feels bad for your opponent. So
I gotcha. That makes sense.
And then, obviously we play 15 fusions in the extra deck. I
Super
never
poly.
play this less than 2 unless it's against like a Cash Tira type deck where none of the super poly targets really work that well for it. And then I'll
Yeah.
take it out. Otherwise, that card just stays.
That card's nice.
Yep. And then we got Fenrir at 3 in the
Yep.
main. My reasoning for Fenrir, I don't see many lists of this deck play that card. I know it plays into Droll pretty bad sometimes, but I like getting the extra body in the hand for Guardian Chimera on the opponent's turn.
Right, that's
just
a
so
good
you don't
reason.
have to, sometimes, you may have like 2 or 3 cards in hand by the time you end, and it feels really bad to have to make Guardian in a situation, but you may get rid of your follow-up if you don't have to get rid of one of your illusions or something. So just getting rid of the extra Fenrir that you're not going to be able to summon anyway just really helps out with that.
I gotcha.
And then as far as just the pure hand traps for the build go, it's just 9, just the standard Ash, Veiler, and Imperm. You know, not much to talk about there. We all
Yeah.
know what those cards do. Just gotta play them right now.
Yes, sir. It's a law non-engine right there.
Yep.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, this deck is a 45 card count, and what did we say? It was like 19 regular.
It was
cards.
19. Yeah, it was 19.
Everything else is just to help keep the opponent from playing, so it feels pretty good. Overall, like I said, I went 6-0 on Sunday, and I just went 3-0 today. I've played everything from, you know, rogue decks like Red Dragon all the way up to things like Tin Pie and Snake Eye with it, and it's doing work. Guardian Chimera carries. So
Yeah. Let's see that extra deck.
yeah. So this is the part that changes between different lists when you look. It's just the two level 6s here.
Yeah, the Chimera guys.
I played a list where I played 2 each recently, and I cut one of these for a card I will show in just a minute. Honestly, you could play it either way, 2 and 1. It did feel really good when they were both at 2 because they recycled themselves on your opponent's turn, so you're really never without the mythical beast name to make sure that your Sword Knight and your Codals are online for their imperms and their Baron Negate effects and things like that.
Gotcha.
This just rips a card at the end phase, and this is the card that Foolish Burials the barrier statue so that you can use this in the opponent's draw phase in the graveyard to banish it.
Oh, and then you reborn it.
You summon Barrier.
I see it. That's nasty.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. Otherwise, there's another tech card in the side deck that you can replace with Barrier for that reason.
Okay, I gotcha.
Yeah, and then, you know, the OTK monster, you have to play him.
Yeah, he's
If
nuts.
you can fusion summon him with one of these 2 and 3 illusions, you will do no less than 9,300 damage in the battle phase.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it feels really good to get that guy out. He's just really funny like that. And then probably one of the MVPs, honestly. I see a lot of people play 1. I think that's dumb. Why would you not want to pop 2?
I agree. To play 2.
You know
yeah,
what
this
I mean?
is grindy sometimes. When the
Yeah,
second
and
one
you
comes
do,
up.
and it's also, he's just such a good body because you can also banish this card from the graveyard to summon any of these too.
Yeah.
Which just gives you a lot of protection and utility, and there's just a lot of versatility with where you can kind of go after a certain point.
Yeah.
And then now we're gonna get outside of our chimeras here. There's just this one of right here, Magnum.
Yeah, that card's nice.
It is. I hear mixed opinions about it, and I can agree that you don't make it much, but when you do, it feels really good because it basically just chaos spaces with fusion cards to draw, and then you can also banish and get some disruption on the opponent's turn. What does it say?
It's when when a card effect is activated.
Yeah, you
banish
get to
a
banish
poly,
one
pop.
and pop.
Yep. It's really good. You can do both effects. It's really good.
Yeah, feels awesome.
It's good value.
Now, the spicy card in the extra deck off that light hex seal, we can have a cheat code for Dragoon. Since a lot of these Omni Negates are getting banned, it's really good to have one that you can make on summon number 2 in a nib heavy format, just to be able to protect your board is kind of everything right now. Like I said, this deck loses to hand traps, and getting hit with nib is no different. And then we can move on into the small branded package. I play 1 Renbrum, and this is usually the target you'll be summoning going first with Branded Fusion using Albaz and the Gazelle, just so you can get your extra deck negate, and then, like I said, it also bridges the 2 archetypes to start searching an illusion to get the Chimera plays moving.
Okay.
Play the Mirror Jade, the Albion, and the Lupelion, just to round off our branded monsters. These are just pretty self-explanatory, honestly.
Right, yep.
Like you use Branded Fusion, and you use Light Hex Seal and Albaz to make this. That's your summon 1, you activate, and you banish this and your Light Hex Seal to make Dragoon. And you still have Albaz in the graveyard in case you ever make Mirror Jade, where you can then send Renbrum to the graveyard so that you can recur it with that Albaz there to make additional body.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Great interaction.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, it's really, really powerful. People don't respect this card like they should. They out it in the battle phase, and I immediately summon the Albaz back off of it and just fuse their board off for a Mirror Jade in their battle phase.
Yeah, right. It's like, wait, what's that card do? It's like, oh, yeah, I'll scoop.
Crazy. Not only that, but it just negates an extra deck monster and gets to bounce any monster on the field back to the hand. So that's also awesome. And then the super poly targets.
Yes, sir.
That's really it.
There's your 15. Nice.
Yeah, that's about it. And then,
nice QCR.
Yeah, definitely. It was only like $5. Awesome.
Yeah, right.
All right.
See that side deck, man.
Go check out the side deck. Scapegoat tokens.
Yeah.
So we just play 3 nib here in the side. Don't always like to main it. I really like the way it's set up to go first, as it is, just going blind into the rounds. depending on the matchup, I'll always side these in, you know. Otherwise, I may just put one in for a cross-out target for myself because getting nibbed kind of feels bad sometimes. And then we play the single Magnamut and the double Druis Worm. It's just matchup dependent on what I depend to put those in, but these actually carry really hard sometimes.
Branded and voiceless.
Yeah, I mean that's just it. There's just too many decks that have a lighter dark that need to feed my Magnamut. So.
Feed it.
And then this is the card. This is the card that I can replace with Barrier Statue and basically do the same combo. But depending on the matchup, you know, like if I'm playing Yubel, Barrier Statue is completely useless. But we play Tiger King Wengu, and Yubel loses because their monsters float on destruction, and they would just constantly be destroying themselves. Even though
it's a continuous effect. So they would summon it, then you get another one, pop it, summon another. It would just do it until they run out.
Yeah, I mean, you know, every now and then some dude still shows up playing Pearly or something, and you just got to respect some of those decks. This out's low. You know, if you want to make it on Voiceless, you would really go for Barrier because it dark locks them. But, you know, it could also work. Like if you decided to main this and side Barrier.
Right.
Yeah, so that's kind of that is the monsters for the side deck. And then I just have a really small thrust package here. It's just the Storm, Duster, and Thrust, and then I play 3 evenly to go with it.
Okay, nice.
You know, these are really nice to either just draw in them. This helps you get to Branded Fusion, a few other things like that. I just think evenly's too good right now. Just played at 3. Always want to see it, because if you don't see that, you won't see this. So
you got 4 copies of evenly. That's
nice.
Nice.
Yeah, basically. And then, you know, a lot of this is honestly for going second because I feel like the deck goes first well enough.
Yeah, I agree.
I only have 2 cards to go first, and that's just 2 floodgates.
Some floodgates. Yep.
I'm a degenerate player.
Well, I mean, yeah, if you go first, you flip a floodgate.
Yeah,
GG.
and anti-spell's great because I can just set, you know, Chimera Fusions and Super Polys and still completely play the game.
Right.
And
before you activate your anti-spell, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Even then, if I flip it in your draw phase, I already have those set. So I'm playing the game. You're not.
Like,
and I think
you lose.
Yeah, and I think that's why I like the deck a lot. It's kind of like it's a stun deck with a Chimera mask on it, and I really enjoy the like mid-range kind of play style of it. Just,
I gotcha.
Yeah, I may not be able to play because I bricked, but you can't either because of some of these other cards. So
right.
Yeah, it's really fun. Get into a lot of grind games and stuff, but overall I think it's performed really well. Surprisingly well, actually. Like I said, I've won 9 games without losing.
You want to demonstrate just one card combo with like the Mirror Sword Knight or something?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and show the Barrier Lock combo.
There you go.
Just because it's so good. So you can essentially get there off of 1 Cornfield Codal.
Yeah.
You know, and you just got the other like 4 cards, whatever they are. Yeah, so you just got your other 4 cards in your hand here, and so you'll just start your turn discarding the Cornfield.
All right.
Searching for your Mirror Sword Knight.
Cool.
And Mirror Sword Knight has a really kind of fun interaction here that a lot of people get confused by or don't really know about. And so its effect says, it's a quick effect that says you can tribute this card to special a monster that mentions Chimera Fusion. And because that's a quick effect, when you normal summon it, you take turn player priority and quick effect chain 1 off the field before your opponent gets to respond. And so this is where you could always like die to Ash or something, but that's why we play the 3 crossouts.
Yeah.
And so when you run that, you're going to summon the level 5 Fiend, Berphomet, which his effect on summon will add you the Chimera Fusion as well as the Gazelle. And so from here, activate Chimera Fusion.
Yep.
To fuse these 2 off.
Okay.
You will go, I always go here like this into the first name, so that way I get the card rip on you. And so the chain link triggers here, I always go 1 to search the illusion, 2 target the Sword Knight to summon, and then 3 to protect your graveyard interactions here to rip a card at the end phase. And so that will summon. And depending on what your matchup is here is what you'll search off of Gazelle. Like if I know I'm playing Tenpai, I'm going to grab the Candle just because I know it's going to be pretty hard for them to out that in the battle phase and get through it to kill me.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you could always add another Codal or Sword Knight for follow-up. Or if you're going second, you would want to add Master Tau because Master Tau enables the OTK when you're going second, but it's not the right time to grab it in my opinion here. So I would just grab like Emissary, assuming like Tenpai or something.
For Tenpai. Gotcha.
Yeah, and so because I control this card, I will add this fusion card back from the graveyard
Okay.
and just activate it again. Fusing the Sword Knight and Chimera. Otherwise, do keep in mind you just need a Fiend or Illusion to make this play. Any of your other 4 cards could be that, so you might be able to keep that for follow-up on your turn. Let's just use that for example here. Okay. Just so, because in your opponent's draw phase, you can activate this again and summon another Baphomet and search 2 more cards. It's just the card advantage of this deck is absolutely crazy. And so from here, we'll summon the new level 6 Baphomet, which his effect is to Foolish Burial any Beast, Fiend, or Illusion, which is where you would then send Barrier Statue wherever he's sitting. Barrier Statue. And so you can't add back a Chimera Fusion again, which is unfortunate, but this could be Super Poly, Chimera Fusion, this could be any number of things. You still have 4 cards to play with. And you do whatever you need to do with that. And then when you pass turn, you rip a card, and then in the opponent's draw phase, you activate Banish Chimera, and you summon your Barrier Statue, and then they cry and scoop, go to game 2.
Nice. Yeah, it's a big combo. Yeah, that card's really good. And
yep, really fun. And this also, like I said, it gets you value in the draw phase, and then you could have just any number of other hand traps, things like that to keep playing. So yeah, that's my branded Chimera build. It's been doing pretty great. I'm really proud of it. It's been really fun hopping off Dragon Link after over a year. So this has been great. And I think this plays into the Fire format a lot better than that. So
yeah, nice, man.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy with it.
Yeah, man. Well, thank you for being on the channel. You did a great job winning 2 back-to-back locals and stuff. So yeah, thanks, and we'll see you next time.
Yeah, appreciate it. Bye, y'all.